Alright, so you need two numbers which when you multiply, it gives you the negative 12, and when you add, it gives you 4. Which two numbers? Well, let us play around with it. We know that when you multiply 2 and 6, it gives you 12, right? So if I multiply 2 and 6, if I multiply 2 and 6, it gives me 12, right? But I need a negative 12. So if I change any one of these in negative, it will give me a negative. But remember this, that when you add them, they should give you a positive 4. So because this number is positive, the bigger number here have to be positive. In order for you to get positive here. So the smaller number will be negative. So I'll put my negative here. So I will say negative 2 and positive 6. And see, if I multiply a negative and a positive, it gives you a negative. And if I add a negative and this positive, you subtract, take the sign of the bigger number, it become positive 4. So my two numbers is negative 2 and positive 6. So I will put my negative 2 here, and I will put my positive 6 here. Clear so far? Any questions so far? Alright, let's continue. Then the next step what we need to do here, we will take our A term, which is 6, and divide each one of these by our A term. And so we're gonna, our A term is what? Our A term is, let us use yellow. So our A term is 6, so we're gonna write that over 6, and we're gonna write this over 6. Now whenever you have something like this, then you reduce if you could reduce. If you cannot reduce, you just leave as is. As you can see, I could reduce this by 1 and 1. So because 6 go into this 1. So 6 into 6, 1 into 6, 1. So I get 1 and 1. 1 at top, 1 at bottom. The bottom one, I could reduce by 2. I could say, okay, 2 into 2, 1. And 2 into 6, 3. Alright? And practically I've finished. Because the bottom numbers are going to start with this, the bottom number 3. This 3 will go in front of the x right here, so I'll put my 3 right there. Remember, always is the bottom number goes here, the top number, which is a negative 1, goes here, so you're going to put a negative 1 there. And for the next one, this is 1, so you can put 1 there if you want. And sorry, the bottom number, right, 1, and the top number is a positive 1, so you're going to be a positive 1. You don't need this 1 here because it is understood that there is a 1 there. So once there's a 1, you don't have to put that 1 there. And that's your that is your factors. That's your two factors. Now after factorizing, the third step would be set them to 0, and then you solve the equation, right? So we're going to set each one of them to 0, and then we're going to solve. So in this case, we're going to say, okay, the first one is 3x minus 1. We're going to set or equate it to 0, and then we're going to solve. And then we're going to equate the next one, x plus 1 equal to 0, and then we're going to solve for x. So in this case, we take the 1 across, the 3x stay by itself over this side, and the negative 1 become positive 1. Alright? Don't worry about the 0 because 0 plus 1 give you 1 anyway. Alright? Then we divide, we want x by itself. Remember how to transpose for that. It is connected by a product, so you divide. So you're going to divide by, you will divide by 3 here, and you will divide by 3 here. The 3's cancel, so your answer become x is 1/3. X equal 1/3, or 0.666666666 as a decimal, right? All right, the next one we need x now. We take the one across, so x become minus 1. So my answer, what's my answer? What's my solution? Equal x equals to, x could be equal to 1/3, or x could equal to negative 1. Alright, so that's my solution. X could be 1/3 or X could be negative 1. Alright, any question? Any question? Any question? Let's do a next example. Let's do a next example. So the next example that we'll be doing is 12 x squared minus 11x minus 15 equal to 0. All right. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing. The first one, make sure that it is in standard form. It is in standard form. So then we're going to factor them. We're going to factor the equation. So we're going to factor, let us factor it. We put our brackets, we put an x here, close bracket, open bracket, put an x here, close bracket. Want to factorize them or get find their factors, right? Find the two factors then. So, but remember we need to put our x, and we need to say, okay, we need to multiply a, multiply c, right? And a and c is 12 and minus 15. So 12 multiply minus 15. Well, that will give you minus 180. Alright, and then we're going to put our b term at the bottom. Our b term goes here. What is our b term? Minus 11. Alright, so you see what I did? My AC, I multiply AC and put my value up here, and my b term come here, come at the bottom, the space at the bottom here. So I need two numbers which when I multiply, it gives me the top number here, which is minus 180. And when I add, it should give me a minus 11. Alright, so if we let us skip as well, we know two numbers. It will take you a while to find those two numbers because you need to do a combination of you multiply two numbers and you change it. If you cannot, then you change two numbers and so forth. And you need to know how the most challenging part of these equations or of these solutions is to find those two numbers. Once you find those two numbers, then it is smooth sailing, right? Okay, the two numbers are negative are 9 and 20. Because if I multiply 9 and 20, I get me 180, right? But I need a negative here. And in order for me to get a negative here, the bigger number must be negative. So have to be a negative, sorry, it's not, yeah. Is it negative? Oh, sorry, this should be positive, by the way. Sorry, that's supposed to be positive. I have the equation wrong. Right, it's supposed to be positive, and okay, yeah. So this is supposed to be positive, not a negative. Alright, that's supposed to be positive. Alright, so this has to be the 11 has, you have to give it positive 11, so the bigger sign has to be positive. Okay, so you correct, right? Okay, so therefore then it is negative 9 and 20, right? Because if I minus 9 plus 20 give you a positive 11. So my two numbers is I'm gonna put a negative 9 there, and I'm gonna put my 20 over this side. Okay, now remember the next step is to take my a value and put under this, right? So I'm gonna put my a value, which is 12, my a value there, and my a value here. Alright, Okay, can I reduce? Can this be reduced? Yes, of course, by 3. 3 into 9 will give you 3. 3 into 12 give you 4. Can it be reduced? Yes, by 4. 4 into 25. 4 into 12, 3. Alright, so let us start now. Remember, the bottom number goes in front of the x. So this 4 goes here in front of the x. And the top number, which is a negative 3, goes here, negative 3. For the next one, the bottom number go in front of the x, and the one at the top goes next, right? So it would be a positive 5. So there it is. I already found my two factors. Now, the third step is to equate it to 0, and the fourth step will be solve. Alright? And the fifth step will check your answers, but we don't have to check our answers here. Alright, so we're going to equate each one to 0 now. So we're going to say, okay, 4x minus 3 equated to 0, and the next one, 3x plus 5, we will equate to 0, and then we solve for x. So we take the 3 across, it becomes 4x equals to 3. Alright, then you divide by 4, and you divide by 4. That cancel, so your x become 3/4. So that is one of my solution. The next solution, solving for x for the here, you take the 5 across, you become 3x equal minus 5. Then you divide both sides by 3 if you get rid of the 3. Divide by 3 here, divide by 3. The 3's cancel. So your answer becomes, the solution for x is x equals to minus 5 over 3, or you could say minus 1 and 2/3, right? Change it to a mixed number, 1 and 2/3. Alright, so that's the solution for that one there. Any question? Any question? Any question? Alright, if you don't have any question, then I have one for you to do on your own. So do this example for me, and then you write your answer in the chat box. So this question is 3 x squared plus 10 minus 8 is equal to 0. Alright, so work on this question. I give you 5 minutes starting now. Start now. Alright, I'll leave that there.